6th grade, I have a surprise for you. I have a surprise for you. If you are part of my class, okay, and if you are part of Miss Barika's class at our other campus, guess what? You get to start on lesson 5.4. Yay! So actually, we're only going to be doing 2 lessons from chapter 5. Now, let me explain to you why. A lot of this is actually going to be because Corona kind of threw us off with everything, and I felt like I wanted you guys to learn the things that I absolutely knew that you needed, so that way you can get ready for 7th grade for next year. So I do want to cover percents because they are very important and they are very much real life. You're going to definitely use those in real life, but also it's really good for you guys to start getting started on algebra and equations. So that way when you get to wherever you're gonna get, but for my kids it'd be Mr. B's class in the North Campus, then that way you guys will be well prepared, okay? Actually don't like the way that they teach you. Surprise, surprise. We all know Miss Chacón is not the biggest fan of Go Math sometimes, just because I try to make it as easy as possible for you guys. So really quickly before we begin, all you're gonna do is count 2 loops from the right. So you're gonna count 1, 2, and boom, 10% as a fraction is 0.10. So let me do another one. If I had 35%, again, starting from the right side, count 2 loops, 1, 2, that's 0.35. Okay, what if I had 105%? Or I guess I should say 105%, because if I say and, then that would make it a decimal point. Anyway, what if I said 105%? Still 2 places. So 1, 2, and that would be the same as 1.05. One more just in case. Let's do 275, I don't know, I'm making up random numbers now. What if it's that much percent? Okay, still 2 loops and boom. That is percents to decimals. And guess what? If I wanted to do the opposite to turn my decimals into percentages, then I would just do the opposite. So if I had 0.7, okay, and I wanted to turn it into a percentage, I would start from here and count 2 the other way. So I'd count 1, 2, and remember when I have a blank space, that's the same thing as a 0. Okay, with that in mind, and now that we covered that, we can now start our lesson. We're starting on page 201. It says, a typical family of 4 uses about 400 gallons of water each day. And 30% of this water is for outdoor activities, such as gardening. How many gallons of water does a typical family of 4 use each day for outdoor activities? Now we're trying to find the percent of a number. So we're trying to find 30% of 40. Now the reason why I showed you how to convert our percentages into decimals is because what we would do is just multiply the number that we're trying to find the percent of by the decimal. So what I mean is, again, we're gonna skip all of that because they try to teach you with fractions and then like a number line, and it's really weird. So we have 400 gallons. And really quickly, 30% as a decimal. Remember, we start here and go 1, 2 this way. So it's 30. Multiply. So that means over here, we're going to start over here and we're going to count 1, 2. So your answer is going to be 120 gallons. On the bottom of page 201, it says find 65% of 300. So I'm going to start with 300 on the top. And before I do anything, I need to know how much 65% is as a decimal. So remember, we start here, count 2 loops. It's 0.65. And that's what I'm going to multiply. Put the placeholder right away. Then add. Okay, now before you write anything down, remember we do have to count our loops. So there's 1, 2, and no loops in this number. So we're going to do 1, 2. Our answer is 195. On the next page, it says Charla or Charla. I think it's Charla. Charla earned $4,000 per month. Get it, girl? Yes. She spends 40% of her salary on rent and 15% of her salary on groceries. How much money does Charla have left over for other expenses? Now, don't get confused, okay? They're not asking you how much she's spending. They're asking how much does she have left over. So actually, we do kind of need to follow up to step 2 about Go Math because we have her 40%, which we're not even going to do the percent. Well, we could. 40% plus her 15% that she also spends is going to give us 55%. Now remember, every whole has 100%. So we're going to take 100 and subtract 55 because we don't want to know how much she's spending. We want to know how much she has left over. She spends 40% on rent and spends 15% on groceries. So that's how much she spends, 55, and we want to know how much she has left over. When I find the difference, you should get 45. Okay, and that's percent. Now remember, let's just convert it into a decimal right away. Start over here, 1, 2. And she makes $4,000. Now we can multiply. And put your placeholder right away. And add. Now we can count our loops. So start here and count 1, 2. And here, 1, 2. So how much does Charla have left over? She has $1,800 left over. I don't see a problem with you guys doing any of the problems, so we're not skipping anything today. Best of luck. Y'all got this, okay? You got this. Yes. And remember, if you do need more help, I suggest you go ahead and watch the parent lesson because yes, it says parent lesson, but also I do other examples so that way you can watch them. And if you need to, watch the video multiple times. It's okay if you have to watch it multiple times for you to understand. It's okay. Panda, 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 Panda Family Productions. Hello parents, hola padres. We are going to be doing percents of numbers. Vamos a hacer porcentajes de números. Now, I just taught the kids, apenas le enseñé a los niños, that if we have a percent, si tenemos un porcentaje, to turn it into a decimal, para convertirlo en un decimal, we're just going to move 2 places. Vamos a mover 2 espacios. So let me show you. Les voy a enseñar. If I had 95%, si tengo 95%, I'm going to start on the right side. Voy a comenzar en la mano derecha, and I'm going to move 2 spaces. Voy a mover 2 espacios. And the decimal y el decimal va a ser .95, 0.95. 76%, 76%. We're going to start on this side. Vamos a comenzar en este lado, and again, move 2 places. Mover 2 espacios. So your decimal, el decimal, is going to be where the curve ends. Va a ser donde termina la curva. That's going to help them with figuring out what they're multiplying by. Eso les va a ayudar para averiguar cuál número están multiplicando. So I'm going to actually use both of these to show you our example. Voy a usar estos dos para encontrar una respuesta. I'm going to use the number 500. Voy a usar el número 500. Let's go ahead and find 95% of 500. Vamos a comenzar con encontrar 95% de 500. And then 76% of 500. Y luego 76% de 500. To find that, para encontrar eso, you're going to multiply the number, van a multiplicar el número by the decimal, por el decimal. At the very end, en el final, I do tell the kids they have to count their loops. Les digo a los niños que tienen que contar sus curvas. Now, there's no decimal in this one. No hay decimal en este número, so we don't have to count anything. No tenemos que contar nada. So let's go ahead and look at this one. Vamos a ver este. I'm going to start here. Voy a comenzar en la mano derecha. And I'm going to move, look at that, 2 places until the decimal point. Son 2 espacios hasta el decimal. So starting on the right side, comenzando en la mano derecha, again, I'm going to move 2 loops, the same number of loops that I had in the top part. Voy a mover el mismo número de curvas que tuve en la primera parte. And this is our answer. Y ahora esa es la respuesta. For this one, same thing. Let's go ahead and multiply. Para este es lo mismo. Vamos a multiplicar. I messed up on my multiplication here, so I had to redo it. But here it is. Me equivoqué con mi multiplicación en el primero, pero aquí está. So this is how you find the percentages of number. Aquí es como encuentran el porcentaje de un número.